special guest you guys can see over here on the other screen. I've got Stephanie Dean from Open Air Properties. You guys have heard me talk so much about her that and you guys have also asked so many questions about her that I thought that it would be a good idea to bring her on so that not only you guys can ask the questions you want, she can give you some insights on um, on what it's like to do owner financing, because a lot of people are confused on that. And we she has a lot of information to be able to bring to you if you would like to be able to if you'd like to be able to pick her brain. This is a great opportunity to it. So Stephanie, thank you for coming on, and
Thanks for
I'd like
having
to
me.
ask you, just kind of tell us how the company started, what got you into this, and all that good stuff.
Sure. So I have been a corporate person my whole life. Not a great one, I'll say. It's not something that's become easy for me because I'm a very big introvert, and my husband and I are kind of rebels. We don't really fit societal expectations, and we did a lot of things along the way that taught our children to just be independent thinkers and to, not necessarily just go along with what everybody says you're supposed to do in life. But we did do a lot of that in life, and so I was in different corporate environments for about 25 or more years. I'm not going to say exactly 28 exactly, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
And then I was tired. I was tired of just playing the game. We had My husband's mother was with us for 10 years. We were caregivers for her, and she passed in December 23. And it was in the summer of 23 that we had been doing this for 10 years, working full time, two jobs, two kids, a mother-in-law who needed a lot of heavy care, and I was just beat. I was just tired of the rat race. So I read this book when I was on vacation, and it was called Dirt Rich, and I started looking at what it would took to start a business buying land and how I would even start to figure out where to look for land. And I got really interested. And so as I was getting more and more interested, things were happening. My husband ended up getting laid off. We had a data breach at Clorox company where I worked. And I decided I was done. I was just done with the corporate work. So my husband and I, over the next few months, decided to learn more about how to buy land and how to, what we would do with it and where we would even look. And then we joined this program, this training program, to learn more about it and how to do the research and how to market and sell it. And over time, we just decided this was what we wanted to do because we really just wanted to liberate ourselves. And that's the appeal of buying land in general, is that people want that freedom. They want to feel like you've got the ability to do whatever you want on your land. And after COVID, that hit home for me. We paid off our house and we don't have a lot of, fancy stuff. We definitely don't have a fancy house, but we do have a house that we own. And we feel that freedom of not having to worry about what happens to get that rug pulled out from under us. So that appeal was something that we felt like we could share with the world. And that's why we started buying and selling land, because selling it to people who can't buy their own house through traditional credit lines is really something that speaks to us. It's helping people that need to be sort of off the grid and off the radar of the traditional sources of credit and other places, but still to be able to get something of their own. That just touches my heart. And it's been the great joy. I've never been happier. This is a great joy of my life to be able to help people find their own land and get something that they can call their own.
Traditionally, if you look through history and you look at economics, one of the things, so I may have to move out of the sun here, but one of the things that happens throughout history that makes a country livable and the cost of living, low income. And so like opportunities like this are hard to come by
Hmm.
right now. So what inspired you to be able to
Well, I mean, that's just been something that's been in my heart for a long, long time. I mean, years. I've always felt connection with people just being able to survive. I'm the oldest of three sisters. I've always been a caretaker of people, and I've helped people when they were struggling with their mortgages or with with the rent. And I've had people live in my home when they couldn't have a place to live for, an extended period of time, including even my mother-in-law, of course. Um, that's just something that's sort of in my core. You feel like you have a life purpose about
Mhm.
certain things, and one of those things for me is helping people just get their basic needs met. So that's an easy one
Mm,
to commit to.
like, your message, buying freedom, resonates with me deeply. Uh, I'm like Tuck in regard of talking to you about a property. But okay, so how is it that you get started with owner financing? Because so many people want to go through the banks. What are the
Mhm.
risks involved with it? Like what kind of, because you're stepping out on the limb and you're trying to find trustworthy relationships
Yeah,
that with people that will pay you, because if they don't pay, you're out. It's not like a bank where they can write it off. You're this directly affects you. So like
yeah.
how do you that process, and what brought you to be able to take those risks?
Okay, so we let's start with the process of how we find the properties. So we look for properties that are in
Mhm.
areas that have an opportunity to buy land cheap, but also have some of those boxes that check for what people are looking for. A lot of people are looking to live off grid. A lot of people are looking to have no neighbors, to have the ability to live in an RV, or maybe to build one day. And so there's different
Mhm.
things that people want. And so we used the training that we were given to say, where can we look around the whole country? And we found three places that appealed to us, that or places that we might want to live one day, or just had a desire to investigate and grow with. And
Uh-huh.
Arizona was a place that we loved. Colorado was also a place that we loved, and Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, because we loved the Ozark Mountains and we loved the lakes. So we found the places that we liked, and then we really went deep on those particular counties. So we're only in 3 counties in the whole country right now, and we have over 150 properties that we've purchased. I think it's actually closer to 200. And so when you talk about how do you build trust, well, we've managed to find those properties at a very good price that we can manage to sustain for a while. And now we're looking for people who want to have some, attraction to those properties. What it costs to get in is 349 down, and that is a doc fee that says we're going to basically manage the whole contract process for you, and we're going to file the deed at the end with the county recorder to make sure it goes into your name and give you a copy of the deed. And then we do all the due diligence and all the research to make sure that the title history is good. And as we're doing that, you're putting $100 of that 349 towards the purchase of the property. And then after that, it's once a month. You pay a price that we both agree on, generally in the range of $200 a month, and if you can pay more, that's great. And then you start to, just have that equity building in the property for the next 3 or 4 years, generally, is how long it works. Now, the risk that we have is yes, some people don't pay every month. Some people can't consistently find that payment that they can keep that steady income going. We want to work with you. Banks don't want to work with you in that case. Credit credit companies don't wanna work with you if you can't consistently pay every month. Banks won't finance land. Banks will finance houses, but they won't finance land. So, this is the space that we're playing in because it's a space where other people won't play. It's saying that if you're gonna commit to give us $200 a month and you sign a contract, we will agree that when you finish paying, that you'll own the land, and we're gonna deed that to you. If you stop paying at any point, we're not gonna come after you. We're just gonna continue to have the land. So we give you up to 2 months to try to make it right, to get your payments back on track, and then we just say, "Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's gonna work out right now, and we're gonna just agree to part ways, and we're gonna go remarket the land to someone else." That
And
is
I
not what we want. Please
and
go
and
ahead.
and I'll tell you, just from my perspective, to be able to find somebody that has that much humanity, because you go look at any other property investor, they either want to sell it what cash outright, or they won't, or you have to come with a loan from the bank. And yeah, like you said, you can't even get loans there. But the
Mhm.
fact that You because like the hardest thing is because so many people with inflation and now with these tariffs, the cost of rent, the cost of goods, and the cost of everything is going to go up to
Mhm,
where there's less money being able to support yourself for your rent and your basic amenities. So
mhm,
something like
mhm.
this is extremely important, and to know that you have that safety net to where like in an apartment, if you don't pay your rent, you're out within 30 days.
Yeah,
You're fighting in court the whole time because you're
right.
72-hour no pay. It's like they say that's how they move the process along real
Mhm,
quick. And so to be able to know that somebody like that has that much compassion is extremely important. Now, is that part of your core ethos? Because you were talking about being a
mhm,
rebel, being a
mhm.
not really liking the grind and wanting to see a way to be able to benefit society. So, like,
Yes,
is this
yeah,
part of your core ethos, and what is it
yes.
that aligns you with that ethos?
Yeah, well, that's an amazing question, Tuck. I just wanna stop and say I'm so thankful for all the advocacy that you've done on this channel for me because, I feel humbled by it, and it is important to me. It's important to me to be a human being first, and it's important to, I tell so I've got a salesperson who's working with me now, and I tell him there's only one rule. There's not any other rules. If we lose money, I'd rather not, but the only rule is be kind because there's so many opportunities for us to exercise that rule in this business. People get hustled and they get huffed up about different things. They go through periods where they ghost you because they can't pay and they're embarrassed and different stuff. And I'm just like, just be kind all the way through because people have a human experience. We are having a human experience, and all we're here to do in life is connect. Like that is my ethos. Is our purpose of life is to connect and help each other. So I am running a business, and I don't want to say that I'm not going to, break if you don't pay. But we do, as you know, I send a text a week ahead every month to say, "Hey, your payment's coming up next week. Just let me know if you have any concerns or questions." And it's not that we want to say, "Please feel free to pay late." It's that we want to make sure that we're in a good relationship. And so if you're communicating with me, I'm going to communicate with you, and we're going to have just fine time getting along with each other. Sometimes you have to part ways, and that makes sense. Let me quickly answer a couple of these questions. Matthew's
Go
putting
for
the
it.
questions in the chat. Yes, the Arkansas properties. I love that that's appealing to you. We do have a lovely town of Horseshoe Bend that has lakes and mountains all around it, and it's really pretty. And the properties are affordable. They can generally be in between $100 and $300 a month as well. Same 349 down. You can build a cabin and live quietly with your cat. Yes, and the zoning does support that. So they don't allow RV living. That's the challenge. So you would need to build before you start to live on the property. And so that's something you just want to consider is typically when you're buying in Arkansas, that's more of a long-term plan where you want to buy the land, then build, and then move there. So you got to
Oh,
plan with that in mind.
that's actually I'd never even thought of that. I'm glad. Yeah, I can. I'm having trouble seeing the screen. So if you see a question, feel free to
Mhm.
answer it because this is for them for the so that they have the
Yeah,
opportunity to. We're kind of like out of the back of our car, by the seat of our pants type of channel. So thank
it's
you
all
for being
good.
so
It's all
adaptable.
good. No, it's great. It's
But
great.
yeah, and as Beth says, all capitals for me because again my screen is dimmed a lot, so I can barely see what's going on. And so yeah, if it's in all capitals, it's much easier for me to see.
Mhm,
So with all of this going on, so tell me how you choose your properties. I mean, I understand that you're
mhm,
looking for low income and stuff like
mhm,
that, but here in Arizona where I'm at,
mhm.
it's prime pickings. But how are you choosing the lots? How are you choosing what's going to be beneficial and what's not?
So we started not knowing anything about these properties, and we really had an opportunity to learn and to grow together. So we started buying properties that were way off grid. Like you couldn't even, there wasn't even a road to get there. And we learned very quickly that that was not a good choice. So if anybody wants a 3 acre property that's way off grid, that there's not even a road to get there, let me know because we still got that one available. But at
Well,
the
what are the
same time,
payments on that?
I'll make you a good deal on that for sure. Um,
Okay.
typically, we're doing they're 75 per acre, so 225 for all 3 acres.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
Hmm.
actually a
Yeah,
smoking deal.
yeah, it's a smoking deal. Yeah.
So
Um,
But keep
Mhm.
going, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So as we started to learn more about the properties and figure out where they were and just started to do the research, we do actually do a lot of research. My husband Craig is a great researcher. He's much more introverted than I am, but he loves to just dive into the maps. And he was in the military, so he looks at all the elevation, maps and stuff like that, and just looks at the flood zones and makes sure that we don't have any of those characteristics that would cause somebody not to like the property. So we made some mistakes along the way, but we've learned from them. And so now we're looking for, stronger roads. We're looking for properties with power if we can get them. We're looking for beautiful views. We send a photographer out for every property that we go to now, which is not something we did at first. And so we're learning as we go that we're trying to just get better and better properties. Um,
Okay. Oh, well, that makes
mhm,
sense, but I wouldn't completely get away from those total off grids
mhm.
because if this area blows up because of all the Californians, I'm probably going to be like wanting to move to that 3 acre piece of land where no roads come to because I like being in the middle of nowhere. It's nice. I mean, I've got my neighbors; they're like a block or two over, but
Uh-huh.
there's nobody on my block, which makes me feel like I'm completely out by myself, but I still have a community to be able to work within. Do
Mhm.
you ever go out and physically see the properties, or how are you just doing it by sight? Like, how does that work?
We do both. So we have not done a lot of physical traveling yet because we still have a child in high school. So we're going to actually, my husband and I, once he graduates, my son graduates in May, and then my husband and I are planning to just go travel to all of our properties for the rest of the year, basically. So we will see you in Arizona sometime later this year for sure.
Oh, I'm
Um,
looking forward to that.
yeah, me too. Me too. We're gonna maybe just meet for breakfast at Ray's Barbecue or something. Just catch up and have some
Yeah,
good
yeah,
times. And maybe
yeah,
you can
right.
cook for us. I can tell you're quite the chef. So,
Yeah, I had a five-star sous chef that taught me how to cook, and he gave me the basic ingredients on how to make a red sauce, and
mhm,
after the first time I made it, he liked it so much, he told me that I could probably win a medal with it, and after that,
that's
it's like
awesome.
it became a passion. But, it kinda sucks when you're out here though, because when you're used to being able to if you want something really good, really tasty to be able to go
Yeah,
get it, Ray's Barbecue is the only place out here to get
yeah,
something to
yeah.
eat like that.
I
So,
know.
they don't have to provide great quality food, but, it's still pretty good. You should try their chicken fried steak. That's actually, I think, one of the best things
Cool.
that they have there for breakfast. So,
Oh, great.
um,
Yeah.
so is there a
Let's see.
minimum square footage required?
Yeah. So, Matthew, there is a minimum square footage. It depends on the subdivision for those properties. We have all that listed on the website. If you actually go to the website, it's www.openairproperties.net. And if you put forward slash capital AR or capital AZ, both caps, capital A, capital R, or capital A, capital Z, there's a PowerPoint on each of those specific state pages that goes through all the different neighborhoods of each of those areas. And it'll tell you more about the properties and what those restrictions are. They generally start around, you can go as low as 550 square feet in that town of Horseshoe Bend, and it goes up to 1400 as you get closer to the biggest lake. That's the minimum square footage. Easy to circumvent sewage and septic requirements in Arkansas, Colorado, and versus Arkansas. Um, yeah, so septic and sewage are that's a whole nother topic. We might have to come back on and talk about utilities at some point. And
Mhm.
yes, you would need to hire a contract. Well, I guess you could build it yourself, but you need to have the city approve the building plans. So, um,
Well, I guess
200 a
it really
month
depends.
indefinitely. All three states are good for 200 a month indefinitely.
Yeah, and I guess for the contracting, it just depends whether or not you have the certifications. Because that's really like
Mhm.
if you're a because one of my subscribers that came by to visit me, he's like he's not an official certified electrician, but he's an electrician's helper. So like it makes it a lot cheaper for him to be able to bring it in. But most of these
Mhm.
cities they require that these contractors, do they have to have certifications? Like, are they pretty loose on it? Can you just bring in like a local handyman that isn't really that isn't certified but skilled? Like, is there a lot more leniency in that in the rural areas?
I can't answer that question because I have not been a builder or I've not been a person who's built in those areas. But what I can say is that, you can get plans. I actually did this for my parents a number of years ago. I bought a book of house designs for $15 off of Amazon, and it had 300 different house designs. And so the architectural plans are already developed for you. and then you just go find somebody who can build it, or if you can build it yourself. But you can take those plans to the city and get them approved. They're already developed by an architect, so they're very well fleshed out. And then it's just a matter of, getting arrangements for who's going to actually do the work. So
Oh,
there are definitely ways to manage that kind of thing.
okay. And so from your perspective, I always like to give people an opportunity to, because I ask the questions a lot, but sometimes I might have missed some things that you might wanted to cover. Is there
Mhm.
anything that you think would be valuable to the audience that I may not have asked a question about that you would like to cover?
Great question. I think it's important to have conversations together. So I'm a relationship person. If I see Matthew seems to be very engaged, he's got a lot of questions. You just need to call me up, and I'll be happy to share my phone number in just a minute. Just call us up and just let's have a conversation because we want to make sure it's a good fit for you. I'm not going to try to take your money unless it's a good fit because I just don't want to do that. I don't want to get to the point down the road where we say this isn't a good fit, and now I've taken 5 months of your money and we're going to walk away unhappy. That's not what we want. So let's just make sure that you're calling and having those conversations. And the more that we can communicate, the better. And then the other things are to think about things like, Jason, Chuck, you've shared a lot of specific feedback on this channel about the fact that it's not always a honeymoon. There are challenges with the weather, there's challenges with startup, there's challenges with what do you do once you get your land? You've got to figure out what you're going to live in. And those are not easy challenges to overcome. So, those are just the hard realities of getting started. And it's something that I don't sugarcoat for people because it's real. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, as you know.
Okay, well that sounds that yeah, it's always going to be a challenge, but you know what? If life isn't a challenge, you're not living life.
Hmm.
I mean, that's the reality of it. And one thing that you've said with me that I think that you've touched on, but I really want to drive it home because communication is key. Stephanie sends me a text message a few days, like about what is it, like a week before my
Week.
payments
Hmm.
due, and I always respond back, "Thanks for letting me know," or something along those lines. And then like normally those are automated messages. No, no, she those go directly to her. Like she responds
Hmm.
back. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And when I've gotten into points where it's like, hey, look, I need some I need to be able to make sure that I get all this stuff straight and da 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 da. I've she's been there, she's worked with me, and there's things that I want to do on the property. It's nice to be able to call, and it's never confrontational. You never have to worry about like, oh, she's gonna be mad, or oh, she's gonna be she's the thing about Stephanie is if you treat her like a human being, she will treat you like a human being. And
Hmm.
she's gonna bend over backwards. One of the, like I keep saying, and I think this is probably the one thing that sold me, especially after I got to see it like up front, is you say that you are our partner in all this, and you've even said it a few other times, is
Hmm.
that you know you actually mean it. And
Hmm.
for a company to actually live by its mission, I think sets it apart from any other company. You could go do business with anybody, but are you going to be satisfied at the end of the day knowing that if there was ever an issue to arise, that you could get it resolved and it wasn't going to be the end of the world, that
Hmm.
it was that there was actually a sense of understanding, and you can only go so far, and everybody just wants a little bit of help. They don't expect you to like, oh yeah, just let me live here forever because I can't pay for the land. No, the average person just wants to know that they're gonna get an opportunity to be able to fix it. And the way in which you bend over backwards to be able to do that is extremely important. And
Hmm.
I think that this is probably the biggest value that you bring to any customer, whether it be me and my community or the other
Hmm.
communities in which you work in. So,
Yeah.
um, do you are you running are there any specials that you're running this month that nobody knows about, or anything else like that that are on your website?
Well, I'm going to offer for people on this call, if you decide to buy this week, you get a $50 discount right away on your deposit. We do have always specials going on. You'll see them throughout the year. So if you want to join the mailing list, we're not going to, make a big hassle to try to do a hard sale on you or anything. We just want you to know about the properties that we have, and we do offer specials from time to time on those. So please feel free to, let me have your email, and we'll just let you stay up to date. Or you can check the website regularly. Sometimes we post those specials there. But for today and this week only, if you decide you want to purchase or make a deposit on your property, you can get $50 off just by mentioning Friar Tuck.
Yeah, mention the channel. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's a smoking deal. And those of you that are participating in the raffle as well, if you do it before the end of the month, I will also add 10 ticket entries for you into our monthly raffle that happens on the first. I don't know if you're aware of this, but yeah, we hold a monthly raffle where people like they contribute whether they're getting memberships or
Mhm.
other things. And first prize is a free membership plus a digital bundle. Second prize is uh, what is it? It's an unreleased digital bundle from my website aihomesteader.com, and
Mhm.
then the third is just a free membership to Patreon, the digital homesteader. So
Nice.
not only will you get a $50 discount, but hey, you might get some all other cool prizes and stuff like that from the channel as well, because we want to
Nice.
make sure that Stephanie stays successful. Business owners like this are extremely important to keep around. If we don't keep people like this around, then what we're going to get is Walmart's and and Microsoft and all that other stuff. So
Mhm.
for us, it's important. I think so many people forget that where you put your money, that is the real power of capitalism. Where you put your money is essentially a vote on how you want your community ran. Do you want your community ran by somebody that is strictly there for profit and greed and to be able to make a dollar off of exploiting whatever? Or do you want somebody that is going to be humane and at least, still have a heart and a soul and still be able to work with you? And so where you put your dollars is going to determine whether other people follow in her shoes and this makes it better for everybody, or everybody follows in the other person's shoes and makes it worse for everybody. So understand that when you're making purchases, and the reason why I bring people like Stephanie on is because these are small business owners that are rare that we need to have more of. Small business used to be about helping the end consumer, and it stopped being about helping the end consumer and being more about how much money can I make, how many personal jets can I make, can I own a private island, do I have a woman with bikinis in all of my videos and all that other stuff. And in reality, that's a fantasy that will never that will never be fulfilled. Very few people get that. And I think that the core ethos of small businesses has been lost in that. So it's important that that we bring back the good businesses and make sure that we make it so that they can thrive and succeed.
Mhm.
Do you have
Thank
anything
you.
to add?
No, I think I can't possibly top that. I want to answer one small question, which is at the end here. Matthew the King is asking how many customers have purchased from us. We've been in business since October 2023, and we've had over 100. I think it's more closer to 150 now customers. Customers come and go sometimes, but because we're in such a relationship business and this is a long-term commitment, it's pretty special to be able to still be at this level of personal commitment with that many people because I like as Tuck says we talk at least once a month and generally 2 or 3 times a month we'll text back and forth, and it's just really a great community, and we try to do some calls. We do Saturday calls once in a while to just talk about how you might be using the land or what's going on in the community or how you might take steps to develop the land. So it's a really great group to be joining, and I hope that you guys feel comfortable calling me up and ask me more questions.
Oh yeah, most
So,
definitely. Well, I know you've got a lot to do, Stephanie, and I want to say
yeah.
thank you very much for your time, and the community appreciates it. So everybody, a good round of applause for Stephanie, and we'll bring you back on again so that we could talk about other things. But I thought
Sounds
that
great.
this was a good introduction, so because my community keeps asking so many questions about you
I,
and stuff like that.
I
So
appreciate it so much.
we'll have you on again, and we really look forward to having you. And thank you for being here today.
Okay, and
And
let me just give my phone number. I see
oh
more
yes, go
questions
for it.
coming. So my phone number is 470
Oh crap! Hold on, Stephanie. Did we lose you? Did we
Am
lose you?
I I guess
Okay.
so. I'm still here,
Okay,
but my
no,
picture's
we
gone.
can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
can hear you.
So anyway,
So
I got a
give the
phone
phone
call.
number one more time.
Yep, I think he's got it. 470-798-1080.
1080. Perfect. All right, Stephanie, thank you for joining us and you have a great rest of your day. And we'll talk
Thanks.
again soon.
Sounds great. Take care,
Uh-huh.
Tug.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I know that signal's about to get weak because of where I'm going, but my phone is not liking being in the direct sun, so I'm kind of in a catch-22. But I hope you guys enjoyed, Stephanie. I hope that this helped you. And Bucknut, thanks for being here, buddy. Let's see if I can move a little bit into the shade. That's the only thing I need to do, and then this might fix it. So let's try one more place. If not, I'm gonna have to close this out early, but this was the intention. Now, I was going to go over and do an interview with Rostaman today, but I've got so much on my plate that I got to get done before tonight's live stream that I am okay. Let's see here. Okay. Can oh great. I'm standing like cow patty in a rock. Okay. So out of curiosity, are you guys can you hear me? Is signal good or have I lost signal? Because glad seeing y'all in chat today. Yes, we've had a lot of people here. Thank you. Did I get in? Uh 470-798-1080. Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, she said you got it. Okay, yes, Beth, that's it. Okay, glad seeing y'all in chat today. Yes. Hey, Tuck, what's up, DFH? Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, um, when I do business, I have to use my legal name, but everywhere else in the community, people know me as Tuck. On a rare occasion, I'll actually answer to my real name. Okay, good. All right, so just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown, um, uh, you guys should go check out the article that I did today if you didn't already. Essentially, the ACLU is in a court battle because of the use of data by AI and Doge, and now they're saying that it's starting out because we want to be able to control and track immigrants and dictate behavior and all that other stuff. But how long until that gets used on you and me? And they tell us who they're doing it to so that like we look the other way, not realizing they're doing it to everybody because there's no way you can just sift through just this particular piece of data. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Cow pies, yes. Yes, they're also called dudes. So when you hear somebody say dude, it's a Edward, Arizona, Colorado, and Arkansas. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much where it is. I'm very interested in what states again. Yeah, she's in Arizona, Colorado, and Arkansas or Arkansas. So if you want to be in the East Coast, honestly, I think I don't know. You're everywhere is a good spot. There's no oh, this is the best spot because as you see, she caters to the off-grid community. And in this world, the off-grid community and being off-grid means that it's not going to be a very pleasant piece of land because the only way you can get your privacy and get away from people is to not you're not getting the pristine piece of land. So Stephanie with open air properties. And you can also find her link down in the description, guys. Okay, just so you know, Arkansas mentioned the Ozarks Lake. Awesome. Yeah, Ozark. Well, hey, you remember the show Ozarks? Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't mind being there, except for yeah, I wouldn't mind being there. But yeah, that's kind of like the way the off-grid community really is. I mean, they're more or less gonna take care of business right then and there. Very rarely will they take yeah do some other stuff. Mention the Ozarks. Yep. Okay. So all right, guys. So that's what I got going on today. Um, uh, I've got I've got to get. So you guys asked me for a video on the what you call it on the AI religion, and so that's going to be the next video I release. And plus, I got to start getting prepared for tonight. That's what's kind of putting me behind. So, anyways, guys, it's got some kinfolk over that way. Oh, nice. All right, guys. I will see you tonight during our nightly live stream. Thanks for being here, and I will see you tonight.